Andrew Orvidal is normally the host of this event, takes place every month. Andrew's going to be the main comedic act this evening, so I am here to warm you up. So do you all feel warm, ready to laugh? Okay, then let's just bring Andrew right out. No, we're not going to do that. I got to tell some jokes first. That's how it works. Some of you have been to comedy shows, some of you haven't. Settle in. I'm excited to be here. I've been having a great summer. Just drinking Slurpees, listening to Eagle Eye Cherry, hanging out on the 16th Street Mall. Gangster shit. The 16th Street Mall is fast becoming my favorite thing in the city of Denver, Colorado. I love the 16th Street Mall because it's a relic now. It's from an era when Denver didn't know how to do anything, when we were totally inept and didn't have a clue how to get shit done. Now we have airports and Democratic National Conventions and transportation hubs. 16th Street Mall was when we didn't have a fucking clue. They're like, we need business downtown like yesterday. Okay, rip up all the historic theaters and red brick buildings, put in an Arby's and a Ross. Go! The 16th Street Mall is what every city would look like if online universities let you major in urban design. Like, that's what every single city would look like across the nation. So it's just woefully inept, and it will always be inept. You walk down it now, and it's like, there's clearly a teenage runaway problem on the 16th Street Mall. Well, have you tried throwing free pianos at the situation? Yeah, we threw free pianos at the situation. Now they're just sleeping inside the pianos. Okay, all right, well, I got an ace up my sleeve. It's called plastic cows. Get a bunch of plastic cows out there. This shit will work itself out. Throw in a tilted kilt. What do I look like, a genius? I got other jobs to do. I got to go convince a whole city that animal sculptures are somehow public art. I love it. It's quaint, that 16th Street Mall. It's very quaint. Did everybody have a good, cool.
Can't work under these conditions.
But you got to because you're a professional, so just, okay. All right. Did everybody have a good prom this year? Did everybody enjoy their prom season? You guys, you don't have to be in high school to enjoy prom. You just have to eat at a cheesecake factory during the month of May or June to see all of prom on display right there in front of you. That pre-prom dinner, are you kidding me? That's my favorite shit ever. Two 17-year-olds sitting opposite each other in ill-fitting fancy clothing, all full of like nervous energy and anticipation. Is tonight gonna be the night? I always want to tap the boy on the shoulder in that scenario and just lean in and be like, I'm from the future. Not only are you not gonna hook up with this girl tonight, but this is also the happiest you'll ever be. And then just walk off. Now come out to the car and help me finish this bottle of peppermint schnapps, little buddy. These Blink-182 CDs are not gonna listen to themselves. This is how far that thing went. Jesus. Had to flee. I could spend the time fixing it, but guess what? It's for whoever shows up at table 4. Don't tell them what happened. Yep. I want to open a really sad chain of Korean restaurants and just call it VFW Chang's. This table liked it more than everyone. One guy in the back raised his hand. That's the right way to show appreciation for a joke. Not gonna laugh, bud. Guess what? Yeah, all the way up for you. All the way up for that joke. Cool. Thanks, buddy. When I was a little kid, there'd be some houses in the neighborhood that had trampolines. And if you went and you rang the doorbell and asked if you could jump on their trampoline, they'd let you. And if you were polite and well-behaved, you could come back and jump on that trampoline as many times as you wanted. And then there were other houses that also had trampolines, and they'd let you jump once, and then they'd send you home with a liability waiver for your parents to sign if you ever wanted to jump on that trampoline again. And that's how I learned what a Republican is. That's how I learned. I was flying on an airplane recently, and the man next to me was old, like 70 plus. He was an old feller. And we didn't exchange one single word And in the middle of the flight, he produced several pieces of paper, and he started reading from them. So I looked over to see what they were, and they were notes from a workshop, and the workshop was entitled Beginning Friendships. And they were notes for how to start a friendship and then maintain said friendship. This dude was 70 plus. Have you ever heard of anything sadder in your entire life than an old man taking a workshop on how to make friends? I felt terrible. So I leaned over to him and I was just like, hey, buddy, I'll be your friend. He's like, really? I was like, you are overthinking it. It's not that hard. Guess who's airplane BFFs already? You and me. And he's like, well, it says on these worksheets that you and I should have some virtues in common. Do you and I have any shared virtues? And I was like, I'll tell you everything you need to know about me in one sentence. I'm all about the pussy. And he didn't want to be friends with me after that. I was like, well, I think I figured out your problem, Father Time. Turns out you're a fucking square. Does anybody else want to switch seats? I'll take a middle. I don't care. I'm on so much MDMA right now. I just need to touch people. Anybody here on MDMA? Yeah, I've been doing it for about 6 months. It's great. I have a 3-year-old nephew. His name's Henry. I was hanging out at my sister's house the other day, and we were cooking dinner in the kitchen, and Henry comes up to me and he goes, hey, Uncle Adam, do you know what time it is? And I go, no, what time is it? And he goes, it's punching butts time. And then like a little ginger rock'em sock'em robot, he just proceeds to punch everybody's butt in the room. And I looked at my sister, I was like, what's with this shit? And she's like, oh yeah, 6:30, punching butts time. What are you, new around here? It's par for the course. And I realized my nephew is a genius. Because he's realized in 3 years what it takes some fraternity brothers 20, 21, 22 years to realize, which is that life is all about punching butts, you guys. That's all there is to it. But he has a very narrow window in which to enjoy that realization. Because it's cool for a 3-year-old to punch some butts. It's cool for some fraternity brothers to punch some butts. But if I go up to a group of gal pals at a happy hour at an Outback steakhouse, I'm like, hey, what's up, ladies? Y'all know what time it is? It's punching butts time. Nope, turns out it's being aggressively escorted outside by a manager time. Joke's on them. Me and Kenny went to high school together. I'll be right back in that Outback steakhouse in 3 days. Once the dust settles a little bit. If I could get the room back to absolute zero in the sound and total silence, then I could resume. And if people in the back would like me to resume my jokes, hands up. 2. 2's enough. 2 is enough for me. It's like, cool, you want to hear my new 45 minutes? It's how pathetic comics are. 2 people want to hear it? I'm into it. Let's do it. I'll tell you jokes outside on the way to your car. I just need attention. I was recently performing in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is a really interesting city if you're into cities that aren't. The guy that picked me up and was driving me around Charlotte, he's like, all you need to know about Charlotte, North Carolina is the 2 main industries are banking and NASCAR. I was like, cool, so everyone's an asshole in this city? Like, banking and NASCAR? That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. I did some shows, though, at the club, which was a fun club. Did about 5 shows over the course of the weekend. They were pretty uneventful, save for one. Friday night, early show. I did my jokes. Everybody seemed to have a good time. And then afterwards, I was outside selling CDs, taking photographs, shaking hands, kissing babies. I like to run for local office in every city that I perform in and just see how it hits. So far, I've been impeached 8 times and disbarred twice, which is impressive when you consider the fact I'm not even a lawyer. So I'm doing that thing, getting my votes. And a woman came up to me, and she was very, very angry, but she was smiling, which is a strange phenomenon, because I've encountered that situation with women before, where they're angry but smiling, and usually the only way to deal with that situation is by fucking it. But I didn't want to do it with this woman. She was an older lady, and she was clearly a little off. So she approached me, and she goes, you know, you got a filthy mouth. And I was like, I do. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for coming to the show. My apologies. I'm sorry. And then she goes, a real filthy mouth. And now her smile's kind of changing into a frown, and her husband's pulling her away from me, but she's kind of still leaning back, and she goes, you know, some of us are Christians. And I was like, okay, here we go. This is happening. And she's like, I'm going to pray for you. And I was like, yes, ma'am, please pray for me. And she goes, I'm going to pray for you, but you're still going to hell. That's what she threw at my face. And what I wanted to say to her was, ma'am, I realize some of you are Christians, some of us aren't Christians, and if your religion comes with content restrictions, perhaps you should research the entertainment you're about to go see that evening instead of just wading in willy-nilly. That's what I wanted to say. But what came out of my head was, if you weren't so fucking stupid, you'd realize your precious Bible would tell you to turn the other cheek right now. And she blew a fucking gasket. And that fucked up my CD sales, and now you're messing with my beliefs, you guys, because I'm Jewish and money is my religion. So who's intolerant now? Hey, happy Rosh Hashanah, everybody. Oh, man. My dad's a pretty funny character. When I was a young kid, I'd always say, hey, Dad, I'm bored. And he'd go, you're boring. Shut me right up every time. If there's any parents here tonight, take that home, use that. If your kid says, I'm bored, be like, you're boring. Cue their first existential crisis. I am boring. How did I get so boring? I should start a fire. Fires aren't boring. No, it'll think I'm boring if I start a fire. If you think it's going to work? Nope. Okay. Did you say let it go? Thanks, stage manager. Let it go. I love it. You're a stage manager by day, but you just can't relax at night. You're like, I go to shows, but I just stage manage. I overheard this phrase the other day. I overheard a guy in a bar say, oh, I'd love to stick around for the spelling bee, but I can't because I'm going to be late for my kickball game. This was uttered by a 30-year-old man with a mohawk and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt. Welcome to 2013, everybody. We're all 11. Think about it, you guys. My generation has deified the cupcake. Our vitamins are now gummy bears. Voodoo Donuts in Portland, Oregon has become a cult classic because they figured out you could put Captain Crunch on an eclair. Whoever figures out how to combine infused vodkas and tree houses is going to be swimming through coins Scrooge McDuck style, you guys. And that's the only way I have of describing extreme wealth because no one in this room knows what a mutual fund is. Not a clue. What's that, a scholarship for Quakers? I have no idea. I have zero idea. It makes sense if you think about it, you guys, though, because we have it easier than our parents had it. We have it easier than our grandparents had it. We have leisure time to sit around and think about things. And all we've been able to come up with, collectively, is that childhood was fucking awesome. And childhood was awesome, but it was awesome because it came with a childlike sense of wonder. And if you're a normal person, that childlike sense of wonder should have died inside of you at your first disappointing hand job. Whether you got one or gave one, that's what the child inside of you should have been like, this is life? Fuck this. I want my, this is it. I want my money back. Because childhood is like chocolate. And adulthood is like baker's chocolate. It can still be very delicious, but it's going to take a lot more work to make it delicious. And then once you've made it delicious, you should just probably have a few bites and then give it back to a child, because guess what? You're 40 now, your metabolism slowed down, you're fat as shit. And if you don't like that joke, guess what? You're not invited to my birthday party. How am I doing, stage manager? How much time do I have left? Wrap it up? You got it. I was recently buying wine at Target because I'm my mother. I'm walking through the wine section, and I noticed that Dave Matthews now has a wine. I don't know if you got, yeah, straight up and down. It's a Chardonnay. It's called the Dreaming Tree. And I don't know how you guys feel about Dave Matthews or his music. I'm not up here to get political tonight. I'm going to tell you this. From 1994 to 1998, I was very Dave curious, may have been full-blown Dave. So when I saw that Dave Matthews wine, I was like, oh, hell yeah, Dave Matthews wine. You be my aunt, let's march tonight. Put it in my little basket. Got another bottle of wine. And as I'm checking out, the Target kid's scanning my purchases, and he looks up from the register, and he's like, so, are you, like, pretty into celebrity wines? It's like, fuck you, Target kid. What are you, judging me? Go get me a hot pretzel. I got the Dave Matthews wine because I'm Dave curious. What's it to you? He's like, yeah, I know about the Dave Matthews wine. This other wine, that's Drew Barrymore's wine. And then I looked, And sure enough, it said Barrymore on the label, but I didn't notice that. I just saw a little placard that was like, $10, good wine, you should try it. So I got it. But now this kid thinks I'm the dipshit trolling super target for like the latest, greatest celebrity wines. Just walking in every morning all sheepish. Hey, do you guys have that new Kardashian wine in yet? Do you guys have that Kardashian Chablis? No? Okay, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be over at Shotgun Willie's. But then out of nowhere, this kid goes, hey man, if you're into celebrity wines, you know Maynard from Tool makes wine. And I was like, what the fuck did you just say to me? And he's like, yeah, dude, Maynard from Tool, he grows wine, grows it in Arizona. They said you couldn't grow wine in Arizona, but Maynard figured it out. So long story short, that guy and I are now on an ultimate Frisbee team, and we need 2 more people for the fall season. So after this show, I will be out back with a sign-up sheet looking for some new friends.